There's one movie you got to take the kids to this weekend, and that movie is Tim Burton's masterpiece, Dumbo. How much are you guys looking forward to this?
I'm so excited because you have Tim Burton.
Yes.
And you have this iconic story. And when you mix these two things together, you get such, you're not going to leave this movie being sad. You're going to leave this movie feeling wonderful and amazing.
Yes.
Inspired.
Inspired, and Colin Farrell's in it.
Yes,
honestly, wonderful is the only word I can use to like describe how I felt when I saw that Tim Burton was going to remake this movie. Because anything that Tim Burton touches is magic. It's magic.
Can we just talk about this? Like when I was a little kid, barely old enough to even reach the TV.
In the 30s?
In the 1930s, TVs were taller, and you had to physically turn them on. We had no remotes. Danny DeVito was huge in Taxi. So that's like one of my first TV memories. So to interview this guy, and then I was telling you that my son loves Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He has a shrine, and I love
Sunny.
Sunny.
To Danny DeVito.
I love Sunny.
You can tell he's your son if he has a shrine to people like you do.
Right.
Can I just ask the obvious question? Is no one else concerned that Danny DeVito, who every word that comes out of his mouth in Sunny in Philadelphia is inappropriate?
Yeah, the kids had a swear jar on the set, and they had so much money collected. You know what they did with it? They donated it to charity.
Aww.
So keep cursing on the
Keep
sets of
cursing,
movies
Danny
with
DeVito.
kids and donate it to charity.
Danny DeVito and the kids movie.
Honestly,
That's an
I
oxymoron.
know.
The first time I
But it
saw
works.
the trailer for this movie, I literally thought to myself, Frank joins the circus. Like, I heard the music, and then I saw Frank joins the circus.
I want to see that movie. Instead, I talked about all this stuff. Take a look.
What does it mean to have a career that's spanned the gap, that so many different generations love you?
I think it's
and now
great.
this?
It's a good thing. I mean, I feel like this is like Dumbo is like our right now. It's like I feel like for kids of all ages. Matilda, a lot of young kids like very much. I get a lot of feedback from Hercules, which is also a Dumbo movie.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I like the fact that I have youngsters and also old timers like you and me. Thanks very
Honored
much,
to be
Dan.
in that club.
People who've seen War of the Roses and and Ruthless People and all those other ones who knew Taxi when it was on. So it's kind of cool, to have that range of. And now with Sonny, Sonny's been on 13 years, and that's the thing with your son, your kids are, they all dig it.
Love that guy. Sitting across from you, you kind of feel like you're sitting next to someone doing like a Danny DeVito impression. That's the real guy.
It must be so surreal. I'm just such a fan of Frank. I just see Frank. I'm just telling you, I just see Frank.
No kidding. I wanted, and no offense to this movie, I want to talk to him about anything other than a kid's movie so I can bust him out a little bit.
I know. And you got to talk to Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times.
Wait. If I can recall correctly, didn't something weird happen, or didn't you? Security was called. What did you do?
Wow.
Okay, I can tell you an off-the-record story. Back in the day, a friend of mine that does interviews named Liam said, "Let's go to a pub." And I said, "All right." And we turned to a doorman and said, "You know where there's a good pub?" He said, 3 streets up and to the right. We walked 3 streets up and to the right into a pub. There are only 4 people in the pub, one of which is Colin Farrell. We ended up hanging out with him the rest of the night.
And my phone call was where?
Well,
what happened?
This was some time ago. Well, everybody was kind of wild back in the day, and in my interview, he said, "We've been hanging out. Do you mind if I smoke?" I said, "Go ahead." So he smokes in the interview, but he's trying to be polite and hold it down, and it looks like my pants are on fire.
Oh, wow.
Which, by the way,
Liar, liar.
speaking of pants on fire, he actually complimented me on this suit, which I believe, including shipping, costs like $20.
Nice.
Take a look.
What's it, wool, tweed, wool?
I think it used to be auto upholstery up until like a week ago. Got it on Amazon.
It's good. I only ask because I've bought clothes. I know that.
May I get a white shot over there, please? Thanks.
But never clothes that look that bespoke.
Yeah, well, thanks for acknowledging.
Yeah.
I can't lie to you, Colin Farrell. It is off of Amazon. It's like a $50 suit.
No, it's not.
It is.
I believe you. Really? I'm taking you at face value.
No, this is true. That's my son. Am I lying?
Hey,
Okay.
man.
All right.
How are you? That is off Amazon for 50 bucks.
Yes.
You have to give me the
All right.
thing. That's amazing.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Transparency and Fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
Congrats on this.
Thank you, man.
You just reminded me of something, though. One of the very first times I interviewed you, we were all kind of wild back in the day, and you were smoking in the interview, but held it low so that I had
That was
a
nice of me.
discreet shot.
Yeah.
But in the
just for
B-
atmosphere. It's just for atmosphere.
I was going to say, in the B shot, it did look like my pants were on fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Smoking. Did you get a few
Exactly.
calls after that? Did you get a couple of dates?
It may have worked out okay.
Good man.
This movie, remarkable. You have no other movie in your catalog that has this kind of heart.
No, it's lovely. It's unabashedly hopeful and optimistic, and I don't think shies away as well from the more dark aspects of the human condition, you know, greed, avarice, the ability to be kind of unapologetically cruel toward each other that we have as human beings. But essentially at its core it's the story of an outsider, and it's the story of a family coming together. And yeah, I loved it when I read it, man, and the idea that Tim was going to bring it to life was just a no-brainer.
Love me some Colin Farrell.
I love him.
The guy has grown as an actor, grown as a human being. I got to be honest though, 20 years ago, and even now, I can't understand most of the things that come out of his mouth.
That accent is thick.
That's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, right? Because it doesn't even matter. You're like, yeah, I love you.
Him and Sean Connery.
Right?
Yeah, both.
Sean Connery.
Right. Sean Connery carried the sexiness well into his upper years. Does Colin Farrell still have it?
Oh, yes.
When has he not had it? He can have it any day of the week,
Anytime.
any minute.
Wow.
You're engaged, first of all.
Well,
Wait, let me show you something. So Colin Farrell, I'm just kidding. I love you, Brandon.
I will say he's sexier than Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Does Danny DeVito still got it?
Nah. Yeah.
I don't think he ever had it.
The car
It's not
seats.
about looks, people. Danny DeVito would have you laughing your butt off the entire time. And
Yes.
he does
True.
All the way down there.
So true. There is additional hotness in this movie in the form of Eva Green. Have you talked to her? Anybody?
No, I have not. Those skills she has. She went through 3 months of training, and that's it. That's not a lot of training.
No, that's not.
And you would really believe that she's a real circus performer.
Yeah. Considering that people prepare their whole life to do this, 3 months really ain't anything.
And there were so many circus performers from all over the world in this movie. Contortionists, like
she held her
flamethrowers,
own.
jugglers, and you couldn't pick her out of the lineup.
No.
She held her own.
Yeah. She did
No
a great
visual
job.
effects
Fantastic.
needed.
What I love when you were up there and we see Dumbo's reaction to what it's like to be at that height
Yes.
is very realistic to no one that's ever been at that height. So the first time you trained and saw what you would be doing on the ropes.
I mean, the circus people who trained with me were very kind, very patient, and they gave me confidence. So but I started quite low, and then day after day, it was kind of getting higher and higher. And it's like you have that feeling sometimes of getting dizzy, and it's like you feel like you're gonna pass out. And I found a trick. It's like you have to sing really loud or say silly things to kind of like forget that you're up there.
Right.
But it's a great thing. It was a great achievement for me. I thought I would be afraid of heights for life, and
Sure.
it's kind of amazing.
It was a breakthrough.
It was a breakthrough. Yes.
Back to the singing. What would you be singing at that very loudly?
I can't remember anything in French.